Hey guys, happy Pride Month! Woo! This is my coming out story. But before we get into the video, I just want to say this is Pride Month, but you should be proud to be who you are every single day. And don't let the hate of the world get to you. So, let's get started. So, I came out of the closet when I was 16 years old. It was my sophomore year going into my junior year. And the first person that I told was my stepbrother, who I was super, super close to. But I told him I was bisexual because at the time, obviously, you're taught that as a woman, you're supposed to date men. So, I didn't want to, completely, take them out of the picture because I didn't know what being gay was. I didn't know what a lesbian was, what a gay person was, what a bisexual person was. So I did a little bit of research and I was like, well, if I come out as bisexual, at least, the men are still there. So that's what I did. I came out as bisexual. And for that whole year, the only person that knew was my stepbrother. And I thank him every single day for keeping that secret and not telling anyone. Fast forward to the next year when I was a junior going into senior year. I had met a girl online and we had been talking for a while and everything. And I was talking about having her come stay with us, meaning my mom's house. Because she was still going to college. So I figured, in the summertime she could come. We could get to know each other, whatever. And then she'd just go back to school when summer ended. So, but I don't think anyone knew the extent of our relationship, not even my mom. I don't think anyone at this point knew what our relationship was. Just thought we were friends that met on the internet. And everything, so one day I'm on the phone with her. I'd been on the phone with her for a couple of hours. And my dad just came home and he was just in a really bad mood and just started yelling and wanted everybody off the phones, off the computers and everything. Wanted us all in the living room, as a family and everything. Wanted us to have dinner together and then just spend time just together and everything. And I wasn't getting off the phone as quickly as he would have liked. So he proceeds to yell at me and basically trying to find out why I'm on the phone with this girl so much and everything. And then he just started being rude, just saying rude things. I don't even remember, but I remember him being very rude. And then I was kind of embarrassed and hurt because I knew that the person on the other end of the phone could hear him. So in my mind, I'm you're not just hurting me, you're hurting someone you don't even know. So I just kind of blurted out to him that, that I was gay, that was my girlfriend, and he didn't need to say things like that. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, I'm gay, you're gay, we're all gay. And in the moment, I'm just like, what? Maybe he doesn't think I'm serious, so, and everything, but he was like, what? Because I said, no, I'm serious. And he was so mad, he didn't know what to do. And so then he called my mom and was talking to my mom and asked my mom if she knew, and she had no idea. Because I literally only came out because I was frustrated. I didn't want him to hurt her feelings. I didn't want to just hang up the phone and, because I felt like hanging up the phone, he wins. He knows that he hurt somebody else and hurt me. So I get a call from my mom the next day or 2 days later. I want to say it was the next day. And she asked me if there was anything I wanted to tell her. And at first I was like, no. And she's like, well, your dad called me. And I was like, thinking in my head, Jesus, I'm not going to be able to do this on my own, am I? So I proceeded to tell her, yes, I did tell Dad that I was gay. And I told her that I planned on telling her. Like, she was going to be the first person to know. Because she's been my rock through everything. We're on the phone and she's crying. And I'm just, thinking, like, did I just disappoint her? Like, that's the only thing that was going through my mind is she's crying. She's disappointed in me. And everything. So I kind of, like, listened to her cry for a minute. And I just, like, didn't say anything. I just sat there because I wasn't sure what her emotions were at that moment in time. Like, was she frustrated? Was she disappointed? Was she sad? Was she angry? Like, I wasn't sure what her emotions were at the time. When being 16 years old, you don't want to disappoint, especially me, because I'm a people pleaser. Like, I don't like people to be mad at me. So, and believe me, I did not know at 16 years old that what she was about to say to me would stay with me throughout my life. She said, "You are my child. I gave birth to you, and I love you unconditionally. But the world is not a very nice place. The world may try to knock you down and maybe hurt you because of who you love. But promise me that you will always stand strong and you won't allow anyone to break you." So I realized my mom was crying because she never wanted me to feel pain from someone else's hate. And then it took me back to when I was a kid, when I figured out, like, that, like, the rainbow flag represented, pride. I go back to my pictures in, like, I want to say, like, first grade, kindergarten, something like that. And I have a rainbow ribbon on my shirt. Not even shitting you. And I want to say it was second grade because I'm pretty sure I have a dress on. And my second and my third grade year, I was in a private school, so I had to wear a dress every day. So, anyway. So, yeah. So, she's, like, trying to, like, I guess explain to me that there's hate in the world and don't let someone break my spirit just because they want to be hateful and everything. And I can honestly say, like, I've never been so proud of my mom as I was at that moment. And even to this day, I don't think she realized how much her words affected my life. So then the next person I found out was my grandma, my mother's mom, who has since passed away. Let me tell you something. I am the luckiest girl in the world. And I'm going to tell you why. And I feel like this kind of feeds into my coming out story. So I do have a dad, obviously. And I just told you a story about him. My dad is my dad, period, point blank. Like, he's my dad. But I feel like my values and my morals I got from my mom. I would say my dad's different today than he was back then. It's been 16 years. But I feel like back then he would spew hate and spread hate and he didn't care. He didn't care who got hurt or anything like that. And I feel like, I don't know if that was his way of coping with things or I have no idea. But my grandma accepted me with open arms, and like I said, I couldn't ask for a better support system growing up. I feel that I am lucky and blessed because I was pretty much raised by my grandparents and my mom. So yeah, so my grandma found out, and that summer, the girl that I had met online came to stay with me for the summer, and then she was at the end of summer she's gonna go back to college. She is the only one out of everyone that I've dated that was able to meet my grandmother. I didn't know if I wanted to put this in a video, but I figured you might as well know, because I feel like it ties into my life and my story. My grandma passed away January 14th of 2008. About a month before she passed away, we found out that my great-grandmother, her mother, my mother's grandmother, had pancreatic cancer. And we knew that she didn't have much time. They gave her like a month. So my grandmother lived next door to my aunt, my mom's sister. And so my aunt and her 3 kids and my grandma all went up to Traverse City, which is about, I want to say like a 4-hour drive from here. It might be a little bit less or a little bit more, but I want to say it's at least 4 hours. And so my grandma rode with them to say goodbye to her mom. You know, we were told that we didn't have much time. And here's the thing. My mom has 4 kids. My mom's cousin was living there. They have 2 kids. There might be 3, because I think because she's technically my second cousin, I think her husband has another kid, but she only has 2. So at the time, there was 2 kids that were already living there because they were helping take care of my grandma. So that's 6. And then 3 more, which would make 9, are my aunt's kids. So my cousins. So that's 9 kids plus my mom, my aunt, my grandma, their parents. That's a lot of people in one house. So they decided that my grandma was going to go with my aunt and her kids. And then the next week, we were going to go up there. And they were on their way home. And a lady decided to shoot up methadone, which apparently you're not even supposed to technically have on you as a person. You're supposed to go to a clinic and get it. But they did prescribe it to this lady for some stupid reason. She had shot it up and decided to get in her truck and drive. And this is in the middle of January 14th. So we're in the middle of winter here in the great state of Michigan. And it was a blizzard. They were on their way home, back to Lansing. And this lady decided to go 55 in a blizzard. Which, if you don't live where there's snow, the roads get slick, they get icy. You will never go 55 in a blizzard, ever. She crossed the center line. And my grandmother was killed. My grandma did not die instantly. My grandma suffered. And this woman basically got away with it. I guess the only thing that keeps my spirits high is the fact that, one, my grandma was the most amazing person, would do anything for anyone. She would even give the clothes off her back, literally. And 2, that this woman was 22 years old and has to live the rest of her life with the fact she killed someone. That's her karma. So, my grandma passed away. So my grandma was 66 years old. And it breaks my heart because there's so many things that I wish I could tell her, and I wish she was here. There's a lot of things that she's missed and a lot of things she will continue to miss. But all in all, she was a good person and she always accepted me just the way that I am. So, getting into my coming out story again, I just wanted to kind of explain why my grandma left, why my grandma passed away so like suddenly, because it was sudden. Like, so that's why the only person that I've dated that has met my grandma would be my very first girlfriend. And the very first thing my grandma said to her was, "Are you sure you're gay? Maybe you haven't had the right dick." I sat there with a big red face, and my girlfriend at the time was super, 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 super shy. Like, super shy. Like, that's kind of what attracted me to her. She's super shy, and I'm super, super outgoing. Didn't have anything to say. Like, literally, like, looked at me like, "Please help me. Like, your grandma is scaring me." Well, then my grandma's like, "Don't worry about it. Once you get to be my age, you'll have one nipple going this way and one nipple going this way." And I'm just like, oh my God. But my grandma knew how to lighten up a mood anytime. Like, we were sitting in my aunt's living room one day, and she's like, "It's been said because, like I said before, my mom's got 4 kids. They have 3 kids. So there's 7 kids in this house yelling and running around and being noisy and everything." And my grandma's like, "I once heard that silence is as good as an orgasm." And I was just like, we're all just kind of looking at each other, and we're like, did grandma just say orgasm? Like, literally everything stopped. Everyone was quiet. All over her saying orgasm. So, anyway, after my grandma passed, I kind of just, when I first came out, like, actually came out and everyone knew, then that's when I started wearing, like, rainbows and stuff like that. Now I don't. I know that I'm gay. The world doesn't need to know I'm gay. But, back then, right after my grandma died, I decided to tell my grandpa, who is my best friend, who he is also no longer here. I have him tattooed over my heart. Right here it says Grampy, because I always called him Grampy, with his birth year and his death year. And then in here it says, "Your wings were ready, but my heart was not." He was the next person I told. And I just sent them an email. I sent my grandpa one and my grandma one individually. They are on my dad's side. And my grandfather emailed me back and said, "It's okay. I like to suck nipples and eat pussy too." And my grandma grounded him from the computer. But I sent like a more lengthy one to my grandma because I feel like my grandma knew. And my grandma says today that she knew, but you can't force someone out of the closet. So, I wrote a big long email to her telling her that I hope that this didn't change the way she loved me or felt about me, because I'm still me. But I realized losing my grandma so suddenly that tomorrow isn't promised to anyone. And I don't want to live a lie anymore. And from then on out, I was literally out of the closet to everyone. I do have family members that don't accept me, that literally, as soon as they found out I was gay, unfriended me, and that's okay. I cannot force you to accept me. But fast forward to maybe 3 years ago, maybe 4. I was dating someone, and they came out as transgender. And I decided that I didn't want to date a man. I supported them through their transition and everything. But at the end of the line, I was like, I can't do this. Like, I want to be with women. And I love you enough to let you go. So that is what I did. I let him go. So then fast forward a little bit. My dad didn't understand the transitioning or anything like that. But that was okay with me because you're not living my life, so I don't care. Well, it finally got to a point in my life where I sat down with my dad. I said, you have two options. And this is where I say you can't expect people to just accept you. It's a process. So don't cut people out of your life, shut people off and stuff like that just because they don't accept you like that. I'm 31 years old. My dad literally just accepted me like 2 years ago. It took him like 14 years to come to terms with the fact that this was not a phase. But I sat him down and I said, you have two choices. 2. 1, I don't need you in my life. So, you could walk out this door right here and I could give 2 shits. I don't need my daddy. I'm grown. And then I made sure he knew, not that you were really there when I was growing up, but I'm grown and I don't need my daddy. Or 2, you can get the fuck over whatever power trip you're on and accept the fact that I'm gay. And that no matter what, I will be dating women. And that was his thing. He told me that he did not care how happy I was. But as long as I was dating a woman, he would never accept me. So that was my ultimatum. And literally since that day, he does everything in his power to accept me to the best of his abilities. And here's the way I look at it. It's okay if you don't accept me. I'm not going to make you accept me. There's things that people do that, like all this stuff going on with abortions right now. Lord Jesus. But who am I to judge you? I am just a person just like you, trying to live the best life that I can live. So there's a lot of things that people believe in or people, do that I'm not okay with. I don't accept it. I don't think it's right. But everyone has the right to live their life the way that makes them happy. So even if you're sitting there right now watching this video and you're in the closet, you still matter. Your feelings are still validated and you still matter. And I'm sorry that you're living in a place, position, whatever it may be, that you are not able to come out of the closet. But just know that you are loved and cared for and you are validated. It wasn't until I was grown that I read the story of Matthew Shepard. The sad thing about the LGBT community is everyone is so quick to say, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, transgender, this and that. And then the next day they're dating someone else. I feel like you have that right. But for you to be in the LGBT community and not know anything about it upsets me, hurts me. Because how can you sit there and think, okay, well, I'm a lesbian, but I think being transgender is wrong. Or you're sitting there as a gay man and you're like, I don't believe in bisexuality. So, and I've seen this a lot lately, people in our community, people that are a part of that, because LG, BT, I don't ever put the Q, it's queer, but, but you got your lesbians, you're gay, bi, transgender, and we hate each other. We are literally hating on each other. We are trying to keep the world from hurting and attacking us, and we're hurting and attacking each other. And that's wrong. But I honestly feel like you need to be educated. You need to educate yourself. You need to know what people went through to get to where we are today. How many people were attacked, raped, killed, so that we can stand here today and say I'm gay. Matthew Shepard is the very first story that I read, who was killed for no reason, just because he was gay. And he didn't just die, he suffered. They beat him, put him on a barbed wire fence, and set him on fire. I just want to take a moment of silence to remember anyone that's been hurt, anyone that's been murdered, or anyone that's committed suicide because no one could accept them for who they were. Everyone in our community has a voice. Everyone in our community has a purpose. Everyone deserves to be loved. So let's take a moment of silence to remember those that won't be able to celebrate Gay Pride this year. You may be gone, but you're certainly not forgotten. As you go into your week, this week, and as we go through this month, especially this month, but every day, every month, every week, every year, spread love and positivity. A little bit of love can go a very long way. And I feel like we're so busy judging each other and putting each other down that we don't realize we're all one. Like, we are all the same. We want so badly for the world not to hate us, but we're hating each other. We're attacking each other, especially on social media. Like, what happened to the day where you had a problem with someone and you would go and message them and talk to them instead of them and, 5,000 other people? Just remember that one positive thing could make someone's day. One negative thing could break it. Don't be the reason that someone feels like they would be better off gone. Spread love and positivity, and remember, it's Pride Month. Happy Pride.